Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans. And we got another video coming up as Dayton Black has signed with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, as he had played 2023 for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. 2024, he was unsigned. In 2025, played 5 games with the Ottawa Red Blacks. This is a former first-round pick. And you had a bit of an interesting take on it because, firstly, this is a Canadian offensive lineman. He's from Brandon, Manitoba. Played for Saskatchewan for the Huskies out in Saskatoon. As a Ticat fan that had, because again, it was your team that had drafted this guy. What was kind of your perspective on him? What was the expectation for him when he was drafted?
I mean, expectation was like he was going to come in and start, but he really hasn't had that, okay, he's ready to come in to be that start on offensive line. Like, I think he's still trying to find.
Still soul searching
like that. Not that, it's just like he hasn't. Because you got to remember, he hasn't had that chance to start because of all the injuries that he's had.
So you don't even necessarily think this is a lack of talent thing. You think this is potentially a lack of opportunity.
Because he dressed in 17, but only started once in 23.
Where do you see if he started? Where is that information?
No, I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page. So, he dressed in 17 games, started 1. He began the 24 season on the injured reserve list before moving to the practice roster and then released in October.
Yeah.
He was re-signed on November 21st, but then released halfway through training camp.
Yeah.
And then with Ottawa, dressed 5 games, and then he was demoted to the practice roster and then released in August.
Yeah, so it seems like this guy's just had a bit of a hard time kind of sticking anywhere. You know what I mean? Just constantly picked up, dropped, put down to the practice roster. Just... it doesn't look like teams have had a lot of confidence in him. You know what I mean? Kind of like they gave him a bit of a chance, and it never really went quite the way the teams were hoping. And I imagine it probably didn't go the way that he was hoping. You know what I mean? I think if you're a player going into the CFL, one of the first things you're going to want is stability. You know what I mean? And he kind of hasn't really had that yet. But if we kind of look at his background a bit, just kind of look at his time in college, and this is just a bit of his background there from through the Husky Athletics website. His background: played for Team Toba for the U18. He was the Westman Journal High School Athlete of the Year in 2018, the Neyland High School Male Athlete of the Year in 2017 and 2018, and a Canada West All-Star in 2022. So a lot of high school accolades and a little bit in college. But it looks like in general he was kind of a strong force on that Saskatchewan Huskies offensive line. Again, this is why a guy like Dayton Black is a first-round pick. Another reason, 6'5", 295 pounds. He's a big boy, you know what I mean? Only 26 years old, still relatively young. But it's one of those things where if he's going to become a starter in the CFL, I have to imagine that you see this soon. And if you're Saskatchewan, this is a guy you're probably bringing in as a backup, realistically, if you're able to keep the majority of the O-line you have from last year functioning the way they were. Like, if you're able to re-sign and lock down a lot of those guys, some of them you will, some of them you probably won't. You probably can't get quite everybody. And that's where the potential of this guy is certainly there. You know what I mean? There's certainly indicators that this guy can really succeed in the CFL. He's got the size, he's got the pedigree behind him in his time both playing high school and his time in college and whatnot, leading up to the CFL. But he hasn't yet proven that in the CFL. But hopefully the Riders are able to give him an opportunity to do so. I think it also helps in the sense of that Saskatchewan, like the Riders are going to be very familiar with with people coming through the Huskies program. The Regina Rams and the Saskatchewan Huskies are programs that the Riders watch like a hawk. You know what I mean? And it is a little bit interesting that we're talking about a guy who grew up as a Bomber fan. I say that just because that's in his Wikipedia as well. A guy who grew up as a Bomber fan, playing for his arch rival, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. But this is a guy with a lot of potential, and honestly, I hope to see him have some success and kind of find himself a role in the Canadian Football League. So, is there anything else you got there, Rick, or is that pretty much it?
Nothing from me.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video, share it around, and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you haven't, make sure you guys join our Discord. Link in the description below to our Discord, where we discuss all things CFL, NHL, all sorts of sports stuff. So make sure you guys go there and keep the conversation going. Peace, love, and positivity to all you wonderful people at home. We will see you guys next time.